So, you know, we created as many steps as we could in the 3 beats. So the spinning, I'll give you an example, and I hope this makes sense. We one time, we was about 15 years old, me and Enoch, and we went to the Fred Astaire studio thinking we was going to meet Fred Astaire. Yeah. And, you know, of course, to our surprise and our disappointment, you know, this wasn't, you know, Fred Astaire, you crazy? This is just his name, and it's a studio. So anyway, the guy said, since you're here, you know, why don't you dance for us? Let me see what you got. So we danced for him, and he was like amazed. He brought 6 other people in. They were his instructors, and they asked us to dance, and we did it again. And one of the instructors, a female instructor, she said, this is like the most amazing dance I've ever seen. She said that we had a combination of tap dance. She called us figure skaters because the way we spin. You know, tap dance because of our footwork. Figure skaters because of the way we spin. She said jazz, mambo, and she even see, you know, like African folk dance in what we were doing. So I think we just took a combination of all the dances, you know, and turned it into rock. Did those dances to these songs. So when you take a dance, let's say you do mambo, right? You take mambo and you take those same steps, but you do it to rock. It becomes something different. And I believe that's how rock, you know, is a combination of a whole lot of dances. So you know, we used everything. We spinned, we did footwork, the drops, you know, with straight drops. You know, what I see today, and what I don't like is when people, when they go down, and they hold themselves, or they touch the floor. They touch the floor. Okay. No, we went straight down. We dropped and came up. So it was like this, again, it was stylized. Everything, we did everything precise and as perfect as possible. So a drop was just bang and straight up. You know, if we went this way, we dropped straight up. If we went this way, we dropped straight up. If we spin, if we drop, you know, the same thing. So that's how, you know, I don't know. But so that was, you know, and then the spins, you had a variation of spins. You know, you had, can I show a little bit? Go ahead, yeah, so you had, let's see, let's stay down. So you had, so you would just do regular, you know, it's like step spins where you just go like this, you go down, right? So you had stuff like that. You had spins, I mean, I can't really spin here, but you had spins that you go down like and just keep spinning like a top. You had spins where you go here and you just keep going down. You know, so it was like variations of just going round, you know, and that's what this was about. More about, you know, a variation of steps. You know, you took one step and you turned it into 5. Nice. Different styles, you know. So we don't have music, we don't have any of that. I mean, I would love to do that maybe in a different session.
Where was that?
310 was on Westchester, right off of Prospect Avenue. It was probably the most known club in the Bronx, most known in that day. Yeah, call them disco. So yeah, it was the most known disco, and that was open for a long time. Yeah, so I got there, you know, when it was already open for years. So they had like Dee Dee and them, and even before Dee Dee, Paulie, who I said was one of the best. I mean, if you hear Mike tell it, they'll say he's the best dancer who ever danced. He was from the Bronx, you know. I think Bones and Lucky, you know, who were also well known, they were from the Bronx. See, and this is it. Great dancers came from the Bronx. It wasn't that they did a Bronx style. They danced rock, and they came from the Bronx. Now, I also know, brothers, it was this guy, Louis, who was Dee Dee's partner, who Dee Dee told me taught him a lot. Louis came from Brooklyn. There was a brother named Ray who came from Brooklyn. You know, there was, and the clubs were full of, you know, when we went to Manhattan, what you had there was Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens. Angie came from Queens, one of the best female rockers. Wow. She lives in Queens. She came from Main Street. So you even had people from Staten Island. I mean, all boroughs were represented when we came into Manhattan.
Nice.
So you just danced rock. It wasn't Bronx rock. It wasn't Bush. It wasn't none of that.
Yeah,
You just danced rock. If you came from the Bronx, you were from the Bronx who danced rock. 90th Street, the boys from 90th Street held it for a long time. You know, they didn't call it 90th Street rock. They just called it rock, and the boys from 90th Street were nasty. So that, you know, that confuses me, this whole Bronx style rock. I'm even, you know, I've seen there's the true Bronx style. You know, I'm not going to deny it. I'm from the Bronx. You know, I take pride in that. You know, there were some bad mothers from the Bronx. But there were some bad mothers in Brooklyn. There were some bad mothers in, I mean, it was just, that's just the way it was. And we all, if you were about anything, you went to Manhattan. And that's where you displayed your skills and your talent, in Manhattan. If you didn't come to Manhattan, see, a lot of times, this is where the bullshit plays. People would come into Manhattan, watch, and then go to their borough and act like they were all that.
Oh.
You know, that's what happened. They would come, take the steps, go over there, do it, and nobody knew better. So not everybody went to Manhattan. As a matter of fact, it was a few. You know what I'm saying? Call only a few make the choice. Well, that's what it was. They call many are called, only a few are chosen. I believe that everybody's called. And it's up to you.
Exactly.
You know, to put the work in.
I'm glad that you said this, and you know, I'm glad that you know it's in this interview because a lot of people have to understand this, and you know, there was many dances in New York. The whole rock was a New York thing, basically.
Absolutely.
So,
and everybody had a hand in it. You know, I just don't think that any borough, any one person can ever take responsibility for this.
Wow.
It was just too many. It was so many before me. I mean, and again, I never got to see Paulie, Lucky, and Bones. I heard these brothers would just light up a dance floor like if it was a Broadway stage. You know, I saw Mike Dominguez dance. When I saw Mike Dominguez dance, I was like, my God, what is this? I love this shit.
Wow.
The guy shook, his shoulders shook. It was like someone plugged him to an outlet and he was getting electrocuted.
Wow.
And then he would do, you know, I called it a shotgun, they called it the arrow. You know, his head used to snap back, and it was just, you know, like Michael Jackson did. Well, Mike Dominguez was doing that way before Michael Jackson.
Wow.
And it was, you know, again, these are brothers. Danny used to drop. His drops, he was so straight, and he would pop up, and you'd hear it. You know how big a disco is? I mean, and you just hear the floor shake when he dropped.
Wow.
His partner Hector was the same way. Enoch did the same thing. I mean, we all, you know, so there was some great dancing back in those days. It was, to me, it was the peak of rock, and even what I see today doesn't even come close. Not that it can't, not that it can't, you know, but it doesn't. You know, I know it could. I know that if people was to start thinking out the box and just thinking in terms of dance, rather than, you know, a certain, you know, calling rock, you know, just jerks, burns, or, I mean, there's just, you can bring in so much stuff. You know, I've seen you dance. You bring in some new stuff. Rob Nasty, you know, again, the two that I like is Worry and Smooth. I mean, it's just because them boys, they be making some nice shit up. You know, I remember when I saw the Senka routine, they did some steps, and I said, hold up now, that's a whole new ballgame. I never saw that. I sent it to Angie. Angie saw it. She said, who are them boys? You know, they dance like we used to dance, you know? So, you know, there's some great stuff out there, and I also believe that if they were exposed to more, I think they'd get it. I just, you know, I was talking to Worry the other day, and we were, I said to him that I think what happened was because we sort of like disappeared, we weren't there to transfer this type of rock, which is more like a freestyle. If you're going to call it anything, you can call it freestyle.
Definitely.
We wasn't there to give it to the next person. We was not around so they could see it over and over and over again. Because that's what dance is. It's repetition. You got to see it over and over and over again. Instead, so we wasn't in the club. So you go to the parks, and what are you going to see? You know, and I think that's what was picked up. So, you know, it's nobody's, you know, we weren't around, you know. When I look at today, I don't say, you know, they're doing something wrong. No, you do what you know, what you learn, what you do, and do it to the best of your ability. You know?
But that's why, that's why I'm doing this, because, slowly but surely we're going to get,
Well, I see it changing already. I do,
knowledge,
yeah, yeah. And I see the people looking to make new steps up,
Yeah.
and because I seen a video you was doing the other day, and it was different from what I had seen in the past. So it is all about development. It is about growth. As long as we're in the game, man.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, we
And,
gonna grow with some nice
there's
stuff.
plenty of room for everybody, all the OGs, and, hopefully we're going to have a big party one of these days, and everybody just throw down,
Just do their
and
thing.
do
Yeah,
their thing.
that would be nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's and the way you say that, my crew, my boys, I had a nice crew, and they all danced, but they weren't all good. But they didn't care. They got their groove and they did what they did, and they had a blast with it.
Exactly.
We had my boy Danny, may he rest in peace. We used to snap on him after the club. So I don't care. I have fun.
There
We
you
used to
go.
call him stiff. We say he was spastic. He was the best looking dude in the group, so he didn't care. We danced, we get girls, and he would take them so it didn't matter to him. But he had fun,
Yes.
and he would go home and practice. Again, what you can do is get the steps.
Yeah.
The groove is hard. I even teach people now, and they get frustrated, they can get the steps, but they have a very difficult time getting the funk in the groove. That's a whole, it's almost like, I don't want to say you have to be born with that rhythm, because I think it could be learned, but it's not that easy to learn.
Yeah. No.
House dancers, a house dancer without this funk that I'm talking about is not house.
Yeah.
You can't do house. You can do rock without the funk and the groove, but you can't do house without the funk and the groove. I don't think so. Maybe a true house dancer will say, yeah, I've seen it done without groove. But the ones that I've seen, what groove, what funk, what style. I'm in love with house dancing. I don't do it because I just don't have time. When I do something, I like to get totally immersed, and I want to be, if not the best, one of the best. That's just the way everything I just give it my best.
Yeah.
If I can't, then I just sit down and I admire it. And I admire house.
Yeah. Well, I'm always, myself, from learning rock, I realized through time that it's not easy to learn rock. You can't just get it in, a week, 2 weeks, a year, 2 years. It takes time to, understand it,
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
Any last words for our audience? Any shout-outs? Anything for the young kids that, learn to dance?
I always say, don't be satisfied with what you see in front of you. Do your own research.
Exactly.
I even still, I go online and I watch the Nicholas brothers. I watch Gregory Hines, and I'll take that stuff and I'll make it, something different. I'll have fun with it. I'll play with it, and I always, to take it to the next level. If you're gonna do it, you might as well go all out. Don't be satisfied with what, you see. Make up your own shit.
Yeah.
That's what I make up your own stuff. Create, innovate. So that's. And the other thing is, to love what you do.
Exactly.
That's it. But I appreciate talking to you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Bro.
Somebody today called me and said the dude is the real deal. Tiny is the real deal. Trust him. I said trust him or not, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, and I believe all the audience is gonna love this, and
I hope.
This is a long time coming. And hopefully we could get more and more people is gonna start looking for this knowledge, because this is a jewel right here. Rock is a jewel that
That's what they're telling me.
It's deep underground, so we keep looking for it.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. So,
yeah.
And again, I have access to some of the older dancers that were there before me. So if you want to do something, man, I'll bring them together, and we'd be glad to.
Yeah. Again,
my man,
thank
Tiny.
you.